Alright, today we're going to be doing a little bit more with parallel and perpendicular lines. We're going to be able to write an equation of the line that passes through a given point parallel to that given line, and then we're also going to do the same thing with perpendicular. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing that I want to make sure that you all understand is that parallel lines have the same slope and different y-intercepts. Very important for us to know. So our example here shows that we've got y equals 2x plus 4. Notice here that the slope is 2, and then the other one is y equals 2x minus 1. Our slope here is 2. Because those are the same, that means that they are parallel. Okay, and then our other one, perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular needs to have opposite reciprocal slopes. So that means you need to do two things. You need to change it to the opposite, and you need to do the reciprocal. Reciprocal, remember, means to flip. Okay, so right here we've got y equals 1/8 x plus 2. So our slope here is 1/8, and the other one is -8 and 1/8. Do the opposite reciprocal, that would be -8/1. And -8/1 is the same thing as saying -8. So those are perpendicular. So let's go ahead and get started here, because that was just our quick review. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through the point -3, 5 and is parallel to the graph y equals 2x minus 4. So first thing we need to do is we need to see what our slope is. So in order for it to be parallel, that means we need to have same slope. So we look here and we see that we have a slope of 2. So I've got a slope of 2, and I've got a point of -3, 5. So remember, anytime you've got a point and a slope, you're going to use point-slope form. So you should recall that that is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You should be very familiar with that formula. So now all we're going to do is plug in those values, substitute those values into our equation. So that's y minus 5 equals, our slope is 2 times x, and because that's a -3, we're going to write plus 3. After we do that, remember that we need to distribute that 2, so that gives us y minus 5 equals 2x plus 6. And then we add 5 to both sides. And our final answer is y equals 2x plus 11. That equation of the line is parallel to this one right up here, y equals 2x minus 4, and it does have the point -3, 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another one. So now this one, it says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through -2, 3 and is perpendicular. So now we're looking for perpendicular to y equals -1/2 x minus 4. So remember, perpendicular means that we have to have opposite reciprocal. So right here I've got a slope of -1/2, and the opposite reciprocal means that I need to change the opposite, or the negative to a positive, and flip the fraction. So that's going to be 2/1, which equals 2. So now I've got a slope of 2 and a point of -2, 3. So remember, anytime you've got a point and a slope, we're going to use point-slope formula. So that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So now let's go ahead and substitute those values in. That gives us y minus 3 equals, and our slope is 2 times x, because that's a -2, I'm going to write plus 2. Go ahead and distribute that 2, so that gives us y minus 3 equals 2x plus 4, and then add 3 to both sides, and that gives us y equals 2x plus 7. And that equation of that line is perpendicular to that line. That means that whenever they intersect at a 90-degree angle. Okay, example 3. Write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through -4, 6 and is perpendicular to 2x plus 3y equals 12. Well, looking at this equation here that they're giving us, I can't see what the slope is. And the reason why I can't see what the slope is because it is in standard form. So we first need to put it into slope-intercept form to see what slope we're dealing with. So that means I need to get the y by itself. So I'm subtracting 2x on both sides. That gives me 3y equals -2x plus 12. Divide everything by 3. So our equation here is y equals -2/3 x plus 4. So now that I've got it in slope-intercept form, I can see the slope here is -2/3. And remember, we want it to be perpendicular, so that means we need to do the opposite reciprocal. So 2/3, -2/3, well, we need to change it to the opposite, so that's going to be positive. And then we need to do the reciprocal, so we need to flip it, 3/2. So now I've got a slope. My slope is 3/2, and I've got a point that's -4, 6. So now, once again, we're going to use that point slope formula, and we're going to substitute those values into our formula. Okay, so here we go. So that's going to be y minus 6 equals, and our slope here is 3/2. And we're going to multiply that with x, and then because that's a -4, that's going to be, we're going to write here plus 4. So now let's go ahead and distribute. So that gives us y minus 6 equals 3/2x. And then we're going to take that 4, whenever we multiply 3/2 times 4, what we do is 4 times the 3 divided by 2. Once again, that's 4 times 3 divided by 2, and that gives us a positive 6. So now we add, try to get that y all by itself again, so we add 6 on both sides. And our final answer is y equals 3/2x, or 3/2 x, plus 12. And there it is in slope-intercept form, and this equation is perpendicular to this equation. If you have any questions, please let me know, but that is the end of our notes.